Hi, Leather Rokk here. Welcome to my channel. That was just Tabby Boy. And on this side here, I have Cassie. And you could see her over here. But I'm not going to open up the cage because then if I do, she's just going to run down the hall. So I want to show you this eyeshadow look that I have right now. You get a good look at it. All these greens. Now, you want to see how I did it? Stick around. I couldn't get it just from one palette. I actually used two B&H Cosmetics palettes here. I used the Foil Eyes, which you've seen before, and the Nude Rose Nightfall, which you've seen before, and I don't even think they sell this Nude Rose Nightfall palette anymore, but I could find much more dimensional of a look using both these palettes than just using one. And we're going to show you how to do it. I just got to find something to tie my hair up with. And, of course, I can't find it. You know, this really makes me mad I do this. Can't find anything. Alright, well, one of many things that I can use to tie my hair back is one of my stockings. It's a basic fishnet stocking. Make it into a loop. And this is what I'm going to use to tie my hair back. And you know what? I think I'm going to take this sweatshirt off because it looks a little bit too informal for the look. I only wore it because it was a little bit more comfortable to have an extra layer, because it feels like it's colder in my house than it is outside, but I know that that's an exaggeration. Okay, another quick look at the eye makeup, and here we go. I've got my trusty coconut oil here. I'm thinking maybe I should lower this a little bit. And, oh, I don't know if you can tell or not, but this necklace here is an exact match, color match to the skirt that I'm wearing. And, well, you're just going to have to trust me on that. And this tie was from one of my father's. So, now, I'm going to take off one of my eyes, one of my eyes eye makeup, that is. It would kind of suck to take your eye off. Unless you had a glass eye. And I do have a friend who has a glass eye. And he has taken it off in bars before. Showed some chick and said, I'm gonna keep an eye on my drink. And never goes well when he does that. I wonder why. Okay. Use an extra mirror because my Nude Rose Nightfall palette, the whatever it is, the piece of metal that's used to fasten the hinge together broke over a year ago, so the thing doesn't stay together by itself. And you would think it all being made of metal, it would be more sturdy than that, but you know, I'm not going to complain. Okay, where's my tissue? Okay. Okay, one thing that I like to do if my hand's too greasy after doing that, I like to get into a thing of wet ones. They're really convenient when I don't want to run to the sink to actually wash my hands with soap and water. I usually keep two formulas of this around. I keep the gentle formula, which won't burn if you get it in your eyes. And I also have an antibacterial kind that you definitely want to keep around the house if you're dealing with pussycats and litter boxes. Then it really is good because you really don't want to be handling cats and then touch your face. So, yeah, these things. And I have the packets for traveling, the disinfectant kind. They're really good to travel with. I like the gel disinfectants too. Oh, while we're on the subject of hand sanitizers, this is a nice little handy. It's got a clip on it like you would clip a pen to yourself. And I got this from a convention, and they're really good to have. You never know when you're going to get your hands dirty in public and you're not going to be near sink. Like, I'm always picking up money in the street, and it feels really filthy because it's on the ground. And then your hand's dirty, and what if you can't get near a sink? Okay, the first thing I'm going to do, well, actually, before I put any makeup on, I'm going to take a drink. I'm really, really thirsty. This was hot tea. It's certainly not hot anymore. Oh, and yes, this is my president. And even if you don't like him, newsflash, he's still your president. Yeah. Now, this is a foundation that I'm wearing. I finally used up that Sassy and Chic BB cream, which was too dark. Now I'm actually on something that actually matches me. This is a L'Oreal True Match in the lightest color I could find, which is Porcelain W1. Even though I'm a cool tone and not a warm tone, for some reason this warm was cool lighter than their lightest cool shade, and I don't know why that would be, but it is what it is. And I'm just going to apply some of this foundation back onto the lid. There's still some oil residue from the coconut oil, and that's actually good because that'll also give the eyeshadow something to grab onto. And in case you're curious, the time I'm filming this right now is 5:23 in the morning. So I'm always filming very late at night. Alrighty. First thing we are going to do is we're going to dip into the matte. Now the Foil Eyes palette is all shimmers, but the Nude Rose Nightfall palette, some of those are shimmery and some of those are matte. And the first thing we're going to do is there is a white that is matte, and there is a kind of a flesh tone, if you're a light-skinned person, flesh tone kind of color here that is more on the warm side. But this, even though this is a flesh tone color, this is still technically darker than my skin tone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this brush here that I'm using. This is a Wet n Wild. It's supposed to be a crease brush, but it's much too big to really fit in the crease. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip into this flesh tone color that's a little too dark for my skin. And then I'm going to put it just at the brow bone area, from the brow bone to approximately the crease. Sweep that on so that it's nice and no longer shiny. And then I'm going to go back into the same Nude Rose Nightfall palette, and I'm going to dip into the white. And I'm going to go back where I put the first color, because I found that a combination of those two colors lightens it up and makes it more accurate to be my skin tone. So if you are a little bit darker than me, you don't have to mix the white with it. Just use the lighter color. I just like to combine the two because it matches my kind of pale. Alrighty. And I know I've shown this to you before, but this is what I like to use to hold my brushes as I'm using them. Alright, the next brush we're going to use is from Vivace, or Vivace, however you pronounce it. And for this, I'm going to dip into the Foil Eyes palette. And by the way, just so you know, I don't really think these are too sturdy. You see the hinge is broken on one side already. And I haven't even had this palette 2 weeks. Okay, the color we're going to use in this is kind of like a olive kind of, military green shimmer right here. Can you see it? And I'm going to get a good coating on this because it's not what you call a dark color. But this I'm going to put just on the lid itself. I'm going to start almost at the crease. And I'm going to sweep it, do a good job of coating it. Alrighty. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take another Vivace brush. It's a little bit longer than the previous brush, as you can see. It's got kind of a tapered tip. This kind of brush is good for both depositing and blending colors. Oh, and you see what I just did? This is kind of flimsy. I'm a little disappointed in that, but maybe I'm a little rough on them. Now, I'm going to go back into the Nude Rose Nightfall palette, and it has two metallic khaki greens. I'm going to dip into the darker of the two, and just so you can see how different they look, I'm going to take a finger, and I'm going to show you the lighter of the two, and then with another finger, I'm going to show you the darker of the two. So, you see what the difference is? Now, I'm going to take the darker of the two, and I'm going to touch just like this, not too much. Tap off the excess. Then I'm going to go exactly where the crease is, and I'm going to sweep back and forth. And you really, if you're doing one eye at a time, you want to obviously make sure that both eyes match. Sweep back and forth, back and forth. You want to make sure that you don't go beyond where your eyebrow extends. I mean, you could if you want, but it actually looks better if you're using your eyebrows as a way to frame your eyes. You might want to sweep a little bit more. Now, I like to go back over these two colors, the white and the pale color here, and go and use a darker color first, and I like to go back over that eye, brow bone area, and hit it with the white again. You can skip the white if you're not as light as me, but I would think if anybody knows how to do makeup for the real pale people, it is myself. I just have such a hard time finding foundations that are light enough, and sometimes I've had to mix white to them. So when I find colors that work and that are affordable, I'm pretty happy about that. Does this look like they match to you, or do you think I need more of the crease color? I think I'm going to touch more of that crease color, which is the darker of these two. Okay, now it's time for some eyeliner. Oh, not yet. I was wrong. Okay, I've got to get this really thin brush. This was originally supposed to, I believe, be a lip brush, and it's not the retractable kind. I'm going to go back into the Nude Rose Nightfall palette, and I'm going to use the lighter of the two khaki greens. And get a good coating on the brush. Tap off the excess. Then I'm going to go under the under eyes. I'm going to, being careful not to get the powder shadow onto the eyeball itself. That's very, very easily for that to happen. This will stick to your skin a little bit better if you have a moist coating of concealer or foundation underneath. If one coat of shadow isn't enough, you can dip into it again. Just make sure you use the lighter of the two greens, not the darker. These colors will really bring out green eyes if you have green eyes like I do. And just to show you, you see, my eyes are green, the eyeshadow is green. Sometimes you can use a contrasting color and that brings out the green eyes. But if you really have green eyes, you can use green eyeshadow and it will accentuate them, especially if your eyeshadow is not a bright green. And since these are more or less khaki tone shadows, they're almost veering on the neutral side, and I'm really not a fan of neutral colors on myself, but for some reason this look works. I like it a lot. Now I just got to get the eyeliner, and I didn't want to go for a real intense inky eyeliner. I wanted something that was a little soft, and I'm using, this is an automatic eyeliner, and it's from LA Colors. No, I beg your pardon, it's from Color Mates. I have an LA Colors one that I haven't opened yet that's very similar, and this is the kind that you swivel up, and believe it or not, these last a long time. I don't know how much more of this I have, but I've had this for months and I'm still using it. So these really, you get more out of them than you think you do. There are, I think, a knockoff of the Avon color glimmer sticks. If you're familiar with Avon's products, these are very similar to them. But I think there's more product in these. I honestly do. Okay, I should do the top first, but it's okay to do the bottom. I'm actually kind of almost waterlining this. And this is nice and soft. It doesn't stretch the skin. It doesn't scratch the skin. One advantage these have over the pencils that you have to sharpen is you can't get any splinters because there are no splinters. Okay, now I'm going to very carefully do the upper lid. And I don't want to cover up really the shadow that I've applied. So I'm doing this line as close to the lash line as possible. Try to get the wing up the same angle as it was here. Now it's time for mascara. And today the mascara we're using is another Wet n Wild mascara. This one is called Mega Wear. And it's not a great one. I'm really totally not impressed with this mascara, but I have probably more mascaras open at one time than I've ever had once. And since they're open, I want to use them up. And I want to get these used up before I try out this really good, expensive mascara I bought a couple weeks ago. Which you might not think it's that expensive. I actually spent like $10 on it, minus whatever the coupon was. But still, that's more than I usually spend on mascaras. But I wanted to get something good that, at least that I thought the advertising was intriguing. Whether I believe that it's really good or not, I honestly can't say, because with mascara ads, they always model them with lash extensions and false eyelashes. And I think that is So wrong to do that. If we're buying mascara because we want something to accentuate our lashes, then how can it be right that they show it off wearing false eyelashes, which of course is going to make it look good. But, oh, if I got a little smudge there, I know what I'm going to do. Just touch a little bit of coconut oil. But sometimes that takes off your foundation, so then you have to put a little bit of foundation on underneath. I've been actually having good luck with using this, and then I don't really need a concealer. I don't know if everybody can do that, but I really like, this is thin, it's not heavy, it's buildable. But this mascara is really nothing to write home about, I don't think. But considering I got it at Dollar Tree, I shouldn't complain. I like to save money. I'm not ashamed of that. Sometimes I get blown away by the high quality of things that are very inexpensive. This is not going to blow you away, I don't think. What do you think? Does it look like both eyes match? I hate it when they don't match. And sometimes I don't realize it until after I film the video and I look at it and I just want to smack myself. I say, how could I screw up? Okay. Now, I'm going to show you what I have on my cheeks. I didn't use a contour this time. My contour is a very dark plum usually. So instead of using a contour, I decided to use a blush from the B&H Cosmetics Wild and Alluring palette. And I don't really love this palette, but it does have a pink blush on it and it does have a bronzer. But this bronzer is a warm tone bronzer. So if you have cool tone skin, I would not recommend it for the bronzing. Or I wouldn't recommend it for contouring unless you have a warm tone to you. But you can use this blusher kind of sort of similar to a way that you would use a contour. What I did was I got it on this brush, and this brush is also from Vivace, by the way. And I just did a slash here and a slash here, and I didn't really do a whole lot of blending because this is a very blendable color. These don't go on very intensely, so you can shear them out. Now here is the highlighter that I use from the B&H Cosmetics Black Light Highlight Palette. This has 6 pans of color and they all have a name to them. And I use this color here called Laser. That is it's like a gold, a very pale gold, whitish gold, that seems to have the palest green flecks to it. And this is a brush, which is a Vivace brush that's supposed to be a foundation brush. And tapped it. Here, 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 and here. Now I want to make sure if there's anything that I forgot. Okay. Oh, and this is a lipstick that I'm wearing. This is from Nicka K Cosmetics, and the color is called Vibrant Orange. And this is actually a lighter, it's the lighter of the two oranges they had, but they call it Vibrant. But it's also number 805. So, that's the mascara. I mean, that's the lipstick. For my eyebrows, I use what was left of an NYC chubby pencil. It's supposed to be purple. I don't know what exactly the name of the color is. Hold on, let me get these glasses. You know what? I can't find a magnifying glass or those readers or anything. So suffice to say, it's one of their purple shades. I did a review on this a couple years ago. I tried to use this as a waterproof eyeshadow, which is what it was intended by, and it would not stay on my lid. It did not even make a deposit on my lid, and I was very, very, very disappointed in it. So the only way I was ever able to really use this as an eyebrow color. So, and now that there's no more that's sticking out of it, what I do as my application method is I use this from the Revlon Color Stay liquid lipstick, and the color was originally Black Cherry, but I use this, dig it into there, and I put it on my eyebrows, and that's how I do it. And the nail polish I'm wearing, I do a coat of clear, and I just use Artmatic, just cheap stuff. And this nail polish is by CoverGirl, and it's their nail slicks, and the color is called Citrus Punch. And that is my nail polish. I feel really terrible that the last video I did, I had this terribly chipped polish, and it looks so slovenly. It looks so tacky, and I really should have either taken off the polish or taken it off and remanicured my nails. I really shouldn't have done that on camera. So I deliberately did this manicure just before I filmed, because when I get my hands near the lens and everything, it really does look better if they're painted. I really don't do too much with my nails because I can't grow them long anymore, because you can't have long nails and play guitar. So, and I don't even play that frequently because there's just so many things that take up my time. So, yeah, this nice green look. This would be perfect for St. Patty's Day, which is coming up in a couple of days. And I've got a lot that's going on for me this weekend. I don't know if I can even do everything. Friday night, there is an Eagles tribute band playing at the Golden Nugget, and I really wanted to go see that. And a friend of mine's band is playing in a lounge in the casino afterwards. But the problem is I have to be back at the same casino at 11 o'clock in the morning the next day, because I'm going to a buffet. And I might be covering that for my YouTube channel